One of the EU's most generous citizenship laws is coming to an end after late last month. The Italian government announced plans to tighten its citizenship regulation, which previously allowed individuals worldwide to trace their ancestry back generations to obtain Italian citizenship. This change comes in response to concerns about potential misuse of the system, following a significant surge in new citizenship applications in recent years. So, in this video, we're going to look at why Italy is changing its citizenship laws, and how it actually may prove pretty controversial. Who's the most influential person in the world? Well, we asked the TLDR team and audience to rank a bunch of powerful people, and we have the results. Find out the full list in the next copy of our magazine, Too Long. Pre-order a copy by clicking the link in the description. Let's begin with some context. In Italy, as in much of Europe, immigration law is primarily grounded in the principle of jus sanguinis, or citizenship by descent or blood. This approach allowed the country to uphold connections with the descendants of millions of Italians who emigrated to escape poverty and conflict during the 19th and 20th centuries. According to these laws, individuals who can demonstrate that they have an Italian ancestor who was alive after 1861, the date of Italy's unification, are eligible to apply for citizenship, which is often a lengthy and complex process. Notably, Italy allows claims to be made based on ancestry that can be traced back more than 3 generations, one of the most generous provisions in the European Union. As a result, between 60 million and 80 million people worldwide may qualify for Italian citizenship through their bloodline. Because of this, over the years, the number of new citizens granted has been rising, and the number of Italian citizens abroad grew about 40% over the last decade to 6.4 million in 2024, from 4.6 million in 2014, in large part because of these newly minted citizens. In 2022, more than 210,000 people were granted citizenship, the largest number in the European Union, and this figure rose dramatically to over 350,000 in 2023, with jus sanguinis being the most popular route to getting citizenship, more than double the second most popular route, which was via residency. Essentially, the government has now narrowed its citizenship eligibility to allow only those who have Italian parents or grandparents to obtain citizenship, and only if they reside in Italy for 2 or 3 years. Additionally, dual nationals risk losing their Italian citizenship if they don't engage by paying taxes, voting, or renewing their passports. In turn, people who are granted citizenship but rarely, if ever, came to Italy may not be able to keep it, according to the decree. The way we see it, there's 2 main reasons why the country has introduced these changes. The first is that citizenship applications have congested Italy's courts, consulates, and municipal offices, which are struggling to process requests, and small towns have been inundated with requests for old birth, death, and marriage records, which grinds other important work to a near halt. Because of this, even before the decree was announced on Friday, recent rulings from the Italian Supreme Court began to interpret citizenship laws more narrowly in their rulings, after which the Interior Ministry issued a memo saying that if applicants' Italian ancestors had voluntarily acquired a new nationality while their children were minors, those children automatically lost their Italian citizenship. That meant the citizenship chain was broken. Meanwhile, consular appointments are so scarce that Italian citizens abroad routinely log on to an online portal at midnight Italian time to try to secure one. So the new changes will also involve opening a central office in Rome to handle all applications, to free up consulate burdens abroad. The second reason is to crack down on abusers who become Italian to overcome travel restrictions. The Italian Foreign Minister Antonio Tajani said the stricter regulations followed years of abuses by people who had few ties to the country and only coveted Italian citizenship for the EU passport, which, according to the Henley Passport Index, ranks 3rd in the world for visa-free or visa-on-arrival travel, making it one of the most coveted and, until now, easiest to acquire. The foreign minister pointed his finger specifically to South Americans, where millions of Italians emigrated in the 19th and 20th centuries, often to escape grinding poverty. In Argentina alone, where around half of the population can claim Italian roots, including President Javier Milei, who received citizenship last December, annual citizenship recognition soared to 30,000 in 2024, up from 20,000 in 2023, while Brazil saw cases rise from 14,000 to 20,000 over the same period. Tajani argued that those accruing citizenship weren't actually interested in cultural ties to Italy, but just wanted the citizenship to travel around Europe or even the US. Tajani also pointed out that companies were pocketing large sums by helping people track down their long-forgotten ancestors necessary for their citizenship applications. However, the moves could spark some backlash against Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni and her government. The way we see it, there's at least two reasons why. Firstly, Meloni, a nationalist who has multiple times promoted the far-right Great Replacement theory, leads the most right-wing government since Benito Mussolini, and choosing to impose restrictions on bloodline citizenship could upset many of those on the right, including her most right-wing coalition partners, who have long argued that the government needs to preserve Italian cultural and ethnic identity. On top of that, these new measures risk further straining her right-wing coalition, which in the past has struggled to agree on issues from supporting Ukraine to civil and LGBT rights, including citizenship rights. Earlier last year, firebrand Matteo Salvini's right-wing League attacked Forza Italia, the more moderate partner in the coalition, for supporting an opposition-sponsored measure to allow naturalisation for non-citizens who've completed most of their education in the country. While they've managed to hold things together, now almost 2.5 years in power, the coalition has been hit by its most serious bout of public feuding over defence spending and European rearmament. Second, Italy is facing a demographic crisis, which some argue will be made worse by limiting citizenship claims. Fertility rates have been declining and are at 1.2 children per woman, one of the lowest in the OECD. And Italy's statistics agency, Istat, forecasts that the country's population, which has the oldest population in the EU and also has the highest old age dependency ratio in the EU, will drop to about 52 million by 2050, and then under 50 million by 2070, most of whom will be pensioners. This will put massive pressure on Italy's national budget, which is already under significant strain. As such, fertility has become the centre of public debate, with Meloni and her Brothers of Italy party coming to power in 2022, explicitly promising to solve Italy's fertility crisis. Meloni has previously argued for granting citizenship to Christians of Italian descent in places like Venezuela as a way of countering Italy's falling population. However, Meloni's U-turn now risks exacerbating Italy's demographic crisis even further.
Regardless, in 2025, one thing is certain. We can expect the news cycle to continue being dominated by these same major figures. But who's the most influential? Well, in the most recent edition of our magazine, Too Long, we find out. That's because this 72-page issue runs down our official ranking of the world's most influential people, a vote that saw the TLDR team and more than 15,000 of you casting ballots. In the magazine, you'll learn the entire ranking. Plus, we've written articles about all of the top 25, discussing how they wield their influence and how they interact with and shape our world, including Modi's struggles in South India, how Elon took over, Giorgia Meloni's battles with the Italian judiciary, and Trump's monumental comeback story. Also, if you want to dive even deeper, the premium edition of the magazine also gets you access to bonus videos. That includes the team debating their rankings of the top 25, with it getting pretty heated at times.
We could potentially have a monumental jump on our hands.
Yeah.
Hands up for leapfrogging into sixth.
The most powerful European country, the second biggest economy, the nuclear power that is... The nuclear power!
Yeah.
We also recorded the team reacting to the audience's ranking, so you can find out what they really think about your votes. It's not just about the most influential people though. Too Long also contains articles about the current state of the UK, the new right in Europe, and if peace can really hold in Gaza, along with a whole variety of other stories. Too Long truly is some of our very best journalism, with the audience consistently saying that previous issue vastly outstripped their expectations. So if you want a copy too, head over to toolong.news to pick one up. And if you never want to miss an issue, you can subscribe, which gets you a 20% discount on every issue as long as you stay a subscriber. Plus, just this week, if you use code INFLUENCE, you'll get an additional £3 off any subscription. Too Long helps to fund our journalism year-round and allows us to keep our YouTube videos free. So we really do appreciate your support.